welcome to another episode of Wedflics. I'm your host, Julia Braime. I'm the founder and editor of Brides Up North, the top UK wedding blog for northern couples, and the editor of glossy UNVEILED magazine. Today on the show, we are getting stylish as we talk all things event styling and tablescape planning with UNVEILED Network member Kate of Sashes Covers. If you're planning your big event and want some inspiration, you're going to want to listen on. Let's meet her. Yay. Okay, so hi Kate and welcome to Wedflics. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here on the show. So everybody, this is Kate. She's an UNVEILED Network founding member and her business is Sashes Covers. She is a wedding stylist based in Yorkshire, and wow, I mean, what she produces is so classy and elegant and beautiful. But you don't just do classy, elegant, and beautiful. You can do all sorts of things, right, Kate?
Yes, I can, but I try to keep it in that boundary that it's got to look good. It's got to look good.
Precisely.
It's all about the bride, but it's got to look good.
Yeah, exactly. And it's right up my street. That sort of wedding elegance is just divine. Very UNVEILED magazine, some might say, actually, Kate. Very UNVEILED magazine.
Very UNVEILED.
Yeah. So Kate, why don't you introduce yourself and your business, Sashes Covers, to us and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay. I'm Kate, and I own Sashes Covers. I owned it with a friend, but she's an angel now, so it's just me. And what we do, we specialize in linens and table setting, and we love linens. We love quality linens, and we are very particular about it being clean and being presented nicely, and things being kept in place. Every little element of your table setting is what we love to do. So we work a lot with stationaries, people that do stationery, and florists because they complete our look. And we just make sure that that table setting for your guests is exactly the way it's meant to be, and they feel that every element was thought of. So it's not just a table linen and a chair cover and a sash. It's just knowing that each person, each place setting had a thought through it. You thought of the person that was going to sit there, and we just bring it all together. So they know it was personalized. It was not just an afterthought. So that's what we do.
Do you know what? It's so interesting because so many wedding couples will come to this and think, well, a tablecloth is just a tablecloth, isn't it? But it's not, is it? So I know this firsthand from working on my wedding shows, that table linen is not just table linen.
No, it's not it's the base. It's the base where everything sits on. So it's got to look good. People are used to having the hotel linens, which is fair and fine, but even the hotel linens, if I go in to just do chair covers and the linen doesn't look good, I tell the staff in the hotel to say, can you change that table linen? It's not just doesn't look good. So it's the base where everything sits on. You can imagine your meal is going to be set on it. So it's got to be clean. It's got to look good. It pulls it all together. So it's not just a linen. It's the base where everything sits on.
It is precisely, and it's what your guests are looking at throughout a lot of the day. And you notice like little, and this isn't to say that hotels are cutting corners, but they're laundering
they're not.
And they're turning over a lot of functions, and they don't have time to make sure that every place setting is not got any little holes in it, or there's a little mark.
That is the holes. The holes do it for me. The holes. It shouldn't. Yeah, I can understand where you've got a fold in a linen, and that was because of the packaging. And there's also when you've got a crease that it was not out of packaging. So I noticed things like that. And on coming from the hygiene part of it, my cutlery is going to be sat on that linen, and I'm going to be using it. So it's something we're really, really particular about. So when we go out, set tables or to do the chair covers, people are going to sit on it, but I need people to be comfortable. There's an atmosphere it brings where you're comfortable that even if something drops, it's clean. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'm just too much of a linen freak, but it's a level. it's a standard that if you can spend so much on every other thing on your wedding, but your guests come in and they're not comfortable where they're sat, and they don't feel you put a lot of thought into it, and it always all starts with the linen. It's not something that is at the top of people's mind, but at the back, when people sit down, even you go to a restaurant to have a meal, you want the table to be clean, you want the seats to be clean. So it's that. So why think about it in a restaurant, and then in your wedding, your linens are not up to date or are not the right standard? So it's not something brides always think about, but all my brides that meet me, I'll always say, if your linen is not right on the day, I'll tell the people in the hotel to change it, because it's not just right. Your napkins are going to go near your face. They're going to be around you. It's got to be clean, even if I'm not the one that provided it. But
and
it's got to be clean.
It should also look beautiful.
Yes.
Like if you possibly can.
As much as possible. We've got lots of colors coming in now. I used to watch a lot of American weddings, and I think it's just something when you love doing it. I noticed with my friend Rosalind, rest her soul, we used to watch movies, and any movie we're watching or anything we're doing, we're kind of like, what linen did they use there? Is it damask? Or what do you think? And it was something that was just so interesting. There's this movie, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. Everyone was talking about every other thing. I watched that, I think it was the third part, I can't remember, where they had the wedding. What I was looking at was the kind of linens they used on the table. So I'm kind of like, oh, how did they set that table up? What did they have on the table? How did they set the cutlery? The glasses, is it crystal glasses? Everyone is looking at something else. I'm looking at the table setting because that's what's interesting to me.
Isn't that amazing?
It's just the nature of it. So
I don't think my obsession goes as far as to be looking at that in 50 Shades of Grey, but I know where you're coming from, because I get irritated. Well, through my wedding shows, I used to have to use I didn't have to, but it was just the dumb thing. You'd use the hotel linens, and eventually I said, no, I can't do this anymore because it's annoying me so much. The quality is not my quality level. Every other touch point was high, and it was like just average. So I brought in my own pressed linens. Yeah, was a nightmare for my team, essentially. But lovely dove greys and things like that to make it all just look that bit smarter. And when I go to an event, I definitely notice the tablecloth. If it's all wrinkly and not ironed and things, I'm like, oh no. You
pick it. Once you start noticing it, you can't ignore it. And because it's just me, I go like a guest, and I sit there and I'm like, I'm not using that napkin. And my husband is like, what is it again? And I was like, if I open it up, I know exactly that it was pushed through a batch of washing, and it was not, when the person ironed it, was not a person ironing it. So they wouldn't pick out all the dry food that might still be on it. So maybe I'm just obsessed with it, but it's the kind of thing, that's why I stuck to doing linens. I've done it for so many years. I'm like, Kate, why don't you diversify and do something else? The wedding industry, people might not be needing chair covers and linens again. I was like, that's fine, but this is what I am dedicated to. And I still have my brides that come through, and they still have my linens that work. And now it's even the opportunity to use colored linens. And I'm kind of, yes, finally, not just white, just bringing that colored linen touch. People want different napkin colors. They wanted floral, anything not provided by the hotel. And I just learned how to sew as well. So I'm kind of making my own napkins just to match what the bride wants, just to bring a little difference to it. So it's been interesting.
How did you get into it all from the start? You mentioned your friend. How did it all begin for you? Because this is like, it's not a normal career path.
It began with us being critics. We had lots of weddings. We're at that age where all our friends were getting married, and we're going to a lot of events, and we're always talking about other people. And we're like, oh, did you see that? And Rosalind once said, you know what, Kate? What can we do that we are not talking about people, but actually providing a solution here? You love this. We are always showing me one linen or the other. We are watching wedding shows. What in a wedding, because you love it, can you do? And it's so you, and you're not outside of your comfort zone. I was like, I'm going to start with the linens. So we decided, okay, then chair covers was just coming. This was 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Chair covers was just coming into the industry. We were like, perfect. So they were the lycra ones, the stretchy ones, and were the cotton ones. Being us, we went for the cotton ones because we wanted to be able to iron it. So we got a lady in Manchester that made us bespoke chair covers for a venue that wanted to use us, and it was just exciting. So that's how it all started, with just chair covers, and then I now start sourcing everywhere for the lycra ones became a lot more popular, so we had to go for it, but we had to source for a supplier that didn't have the cheap side of lycra, so you can still put the lycra on and it still has that shine. And the legs were not sticking out. You know, I don't know how to explain it.
I know
everything about
exactly what you mean, but it's
it had to look, it had to sit and look good, and not I don't know, like in an unfit dress. It had to look good. So we went up sourcing for that. So that's how it all started with Rosalind, and we just continued.
Yeah,
until
it just grew from there.
Yeah, it grew from there, and the interest grew from there. And we now started. Rosalind went over to be in heaven, and she made me promise. She didn't know she was gonna go, but it was something we always said. If for whatever reason one of us is not here, make sure the business doesn't die off. It's because it's something, a solution we wanted to provide. So when she passed, it was really difficult to continue. It was, because we're very good partners.
I imagine. Yeah.
But I just couldn't imagine her watching me and saying, what the hell are you doing? Get on with it. So I started adding more of the table setting, because again, I wanted to bring the cutlery. I wanted to bring in the chargers, and I wanted to make sure I was in control of everything on the table. So that's how we have just grown into now bringing in that element. And then I couldn't do flowers. I've never been interested. I don't even know how to pronounce some of the names. So I couldn't be bothered. So, and to finish that look, started working with a lot of florists, because they are good with what they do. I never do it all. I can't do it. I always say, if you want to work with me, this is what I do. But I need to know what florist you're working with and who does your stationery, because it all comes together. I've got to have other professionals working to pull that look.
I really like that. And it's really respectful of the other professionals in your sector as well. I think it's a really great way to work, because it's like, hey, I do this thing and I do it really, really well. So I can show up and nail it on the day, and you guys bring these other elements together, and for the wedding couple will then create this beautiful tableau. And you get to know people that well. I mean, I know some of the professionals on our network that I can pick their work out. Like, you just say, well,
you would know
so and so, and you it's almost like they're part of what you do. If you imagine, if you're styling a table and it's a certain look, and you think, well, actually the flowers of X florist would look amazing here, and you visualize, because there's no surprises.
You can see it. And after working for a lot of years, you just, because you're not in the business to just dip in and try it and come out, you are in the business for the long run, and you're always going to be there. So you tend to build a lot more lasting relationship with other suppliers, and you can see the respect, because some of us are not just doing it for the money, or we're not doing it for the money. Sometimes we are actually running in a loss, but we just keep going. And so you tend to respect that. And I can, like you mentioned, I can have a bride, she's asking, and I'll just like, I know the florist that will pull that look. And I've got 3 or 4 that I really work with, but I kind of know their elements. I know what they love to do and what bits they want to play with. So I'm like, oh, I want to work with that one with this. And it's up to the bride to choose. You've got to respect, there's so many other professionals in the business. So I don't try to do what they do because I respect what they do, and I'm sure I won't do what they do as well as they do it.
Yeah, and you give the time and effort to your bit.
Yeah.
So, which
yeah.
makes it really high quality. I love that thing that you said about being in it for the long term, because that's the way I approach my business as well. I'm not kind of about in and out. I like to kind of, if I work with a venue, for example, I work with them forever until like they can take me no more. I will help them and solve the problems and be almost like an extended member of the team.
It becomes you see that, and people come in and ask you questions about the venue and can actually answer. But you are not just in because I've got a few chair covers in my garage, I might as well make some money out of it. That's not what you do. So it's different. I respect people that do that, but I just can't do that because I tell my bride, I'm sorry, this is me.
Because Kate's a perfectionist.
I'm a control freak.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we like in weddings. So Kate, what would you say your signature style is?
I've got to say clean. It's got to be. I know that it can be quite noisy. Sometimes you see a lot of ideas. You've got brides that want have that. They want to put everything together. But my style will always go with classy, clean. It's not about how much you've got on the table. It's about what you've got speak with each other. And so it's got to be that elegant, clean, pulled together. The word is elegant, and it's got to be clean. Maybe because of the linens, it's got to look clean, well cut off. That's the word, sharp. It's got to be. I went to a venue. I provide them with their covers, and someone walked in and saw me steaming the chair covers, and he just looked at me like, "Why in God's name are you doing that? People are just going to put their butt on it." I was like, before they do, they're going to see it. So exactly. I've got to steam it. So it might be a bit over the top. I'm the one doing it. And it's just what if I walk away, I want to sleep and not think, oh God, I'm going to see that crease on my chair cover. So that's, so it's clean, elegant. It's got to be pulled together. Things need to speak. The crockery, the charger, the flowers, even the way I would set the stationery, your place setting, I will always ask, do you want the hotel to do it or do you want me to do it? Your stationery lady can give it to me and I'll set it. Most of the time I push to be the one to set it because it just got to be right and not just thrown on. So it's things like that.
I know which one I would choose.
Because I want to do it before I go home. So I know it's done, your table is correct. So you've got some venues that you can trust and they will do it exactly. But the venues I'm not sure of, I'll say, why don't you pass it on? And I'll set it. And I know I've done it.
And it's just for you as well. It's just such a nice, like, okay, I know that's done and it looks beautiful. And when I left, I ticked all my boxes and it was
ticked all the boxes. And I want my brides to relax. Just know it's done and it's complete. I like that bit, although they don't have to think about it. I'll just say, you know what, leave it with me. That's always my phrase. Once you've left it with me, just leave it with me. I'll take care of the rest. That's it.
That's like for me when someone says to me, well, why are you the one that proofreads the magazine? Because I have this big kind of week of proofreading at the end. So I've edited it all, styled it, put it all together with my team, and then I proofread it about 5 times, and it is hell. It's really awful, hard work, and you feel like you're going blind at times. And someone said, well, why didn't you get an assistant in to proofread? I said, well, because then I couldn't for sure say that I'd done a good job for my client.
That's just it. Yeah, it's that bit that you just want to know that if anything goes wrong, I'm held responsible and I don't have to pass that fault on another person. And you were like, but why do you want to be responsible? I said, because that bride paid me to get the look. Not just about the linens and the chair covers. She didn't pay for the linens and the chair covers. She's paying for the look. So the linens and chair covers just add to it. So I've got to make sure that look is what they are paying for. And that's what I gave. It's not
really
about
high
the
standards.
products.
I love it. So we talked then a little bit about different colours of linen and that sort of thing. So are you seeing like some trends emerging this year? Like what's hot in the world of colours and table linen?
In love with cornflower blue. adamant in it.
Lovely.
Each time I've seen it with, I don't do a lot of social media. I'm not very good at it, but I watch a lot of TV.
You're not
And
bad.
I've seen, yeah, and I see a lot of cornflower blue coming in. And I've noticed in the UK, I think in the US, they're used to having colored and floral table linens. But in the UK, we are still so used to the white look, the white linens and things. But I've seen that trend coming in now into the UK, where people are now stepping out and using colored linens. Before the lockdown, I had a wedding that the lady went for navy blue linens, and that was the first time that venue had a colored linen. So it was finally it's coming through. I can have more colors. So she had navy blue, and then she had a different dusky pink napkins. So that is coming in with table setting. People are bringing in colors now and not just waiting for the hotel white on white. People are getting a lot more comfortable with not just going to the traditional white table. And those that still want to keep it white are bringing a bit more texture to the white. So you could use a bit of damask white, or they might they used to do a lot of sequin, but I don't see sequin still staying in the industry. It's fading away. But people are asking for a lot more texture if they want to stay on white and not just the hotel normal polycotton white.
Yeah, so you're right. Like a little bit of more of like a fray, or
on top. They want a bit more. So I can see that really coming up in the industry, and it's quite exciting. I've got 11 years of color, so I can't wait to use them. And so
you know what? So one of my friends, and this is 6-8 years ago, I think, she got married at Priory Cottages near Wetherby, and she wanted, and it's very much like you can style the venue up yourself, and she wanted teal tablecloths. Really wanted teal tablecloths, and she was having like sort of hanging teal and blue lanterns and stuff.
Yeah,
but she just could not get them. She could not. I know, and I'm like, if only. I can't remember whether she did in the end or not. I can't remember, but I don't think she did.
But at that time, I think brides were not comfortable stepping out of that boundary of having white. But we always been waiting to have people want to bring in colors, because I've seen it in other industries in the US. I watch Asian weddings, so I've loved the color. But you can still bring it in and not make it as loud and as shouty, but you can still be moderate.
Would you say, so the cornflower blue you mentioned, is that your favorite look at the moment, or is there or do you have a favorite? I know it's hard to say. What would you choose?
I'll go for cornflower blue. There's something that color does to me. It's so peaceful and it's so calming when you've got it on a table. And whatever combination you do with it, even if you've got the full table linen cornflower blue or white linen and cornflower blue napkins, it's so inviting. And I think that's my color for the moment.
Yeah.
Anything that. And I got a charger plate from a company I use. I hired some charger plates from them, and it was cornflower blue, and I had it on a white damask table linen, and it was just beautiful. So it's one of those colors that whichever way you combine it, it just depicts that calmness and that very inviting, and that's what you want on a table when people come in. It's that invite, just quite inviting. And if you've got cornflower blue as a base, you can actually have other colors that just pop with it. Some pinks, even red roses can pop with it's a very nice color that can form the base combo for anything. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that combo. That combo is a very kind of what's the word, sort of expensive combo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and everything is just calm and nice, and you just have that pop of personality, something else. So yeah, I love things like that. So I've just been praying for opportunities to just use colors as the base rather than just white. So yeah,
I think you'll see a lot more color coming through now that people can marry again and have their big parties and things, because
Yeah.
kind of had a year to reflect on being individuals, I think, and making the most of life, and that life is short. And I think then it'll kind of,
and not stress about things.
Yeah, precisely. Like, I mean, you know, what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly, we've had it all.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like rather than kind of just follow the norms and kind of do what people think you should do, or what you think people think you should do, you can actually sort of step outside the box and show your personality.
Just do you. Yeah.
I really like that, because, and also, like, doing you doesn't have to mean DIY or like,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've got this thing about, I love people that can do DIY, but maybe it's just me. I've got this thing about, leave it for others to do. You're supposed to be enjoying the experience and not doing the do. So you can bring in a touch of you in a simple way, or get people to put in a touch of you in a simple way. It's a thin line. It's a thin line. That is a thin line. But yeah, there's something little Rosalind left. She had a little flag, but I picked it when she passed on. And it always says, people remember the quality and not the price. So, and it's what I've got on my desk. So I'll just say, actually, which is really, really true. You can remember having good table linen, but you can remember sometimes after 4 or 5 years, you don't remember exactly how much you paid for it. You'd be like, yeah, they were really good. My wedding was beautiful. You might not even remember what your budget was.
Yeah.
So it's what drives.
The thing is, well, it's like, if you can deliver quality, really good quality at a nice fair price, that's also amazing.
That's a plus.
Which I know you do.
It's absolute plus. It's absolute plus. So we try to get our brides to know, whatever way, I'm not going to negotiate on my quality or my standard. You can negotiate on the price, but on that, there's some prices I can go below because I know I'll have to tweak on the quality. Then I'll just say, I'm sorry, I can't. But we always say, as long as you signed up with us, we don't care how much you've paid. You're getting what you've paid for, which is the quality and that look. It's not the product. It's always going to be in the garage, but it's what we pull together and how we make it look. Is what's important. Yeah.
And so, as well as linens, though, you mentioned charger plates and cutlery,
glasses, the little bits that go on the table, tea lights, anything that just pulls that look together. That's us. And it's just so many fabrics, so many things to play with. But we love the tabletop. As long as it's on the table, is what we love to do. We deal with the chairs as well, but we've got a lot of chivalry chairs now, so you don't really need to cover them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll always tell my brides, you might want to cover the seats on a chivalry chair, because it's gone through a process, and so many people are sat on it, and it might not look neat and tidy. Yeah, and most of the time, some hotels are hiring them now, and the way places that are stored. So you might want to cover just the seat to make it match your color.
I don't know if I'm a bit over a chivalry chair now, actually.
I'm very comfortable to sit on.
No, I don't know if I'm over them. Like, they were very much the thing. They replaced your banqueting chairs, which was a good thing, definitely. Maybe not for the chair cover business, around. But no, not
for the chair cover business, but it was a nice move to people concentrating on the tabletop for me. It was like, finally, leave the chairs alone. Let's look at the tabletop.
But I do think, like, maybe it's time for something a little different. I mean, like, they've had their time in the sun. Maybe we need to kind of update the look a bit. But I understand it's all about stackability and storability and the cost to hotels to buy those nice looking ones that are out now, that got a golden frame, silver, transparent. They are always so beautiful, but we don't have a lot of people that are storing them. And it's a massive cost to a venue to change all their chairs to look like that, because they might not be able to use those kind of chairs for conferences. So so they will have to just keep it for weddings and charge for it, and it becomes so expensive for the bride. So it's a thin line,
So when you've got a chivalry chair, just make it look nice as long as people can sit on it. And I'm thinking banqueting chairs might actually come back in because they're a lot more comfortable to sit on.
They are.
But yeah.
They're a lot heavier though as well, aren't they?
A lot heavier. And if you've ever dropped one on your toe, you'll remember. Yeah.
I've dropped a stack, and I've also kind of like broken my arm. I haven't actually broken my arm, but I've like had my arm like in them and being like, oh, falling.
Yeah.
This
when
is just
you have
event
to stack
life,
them
though, isn't
and
it?
unstack
When you're like,
them. Yeah.
You know, when they're in a big stack, and then all of a sudden you're in the back room and you're like, they're falling on me.
Oh God, yeah. With that's experience, because if you've done events, you know that always happens.
Yeah.
So when the chivalry lighter chairs came out, we're like, okay,
yeah,
my nails are.
I can carry 20 of these on each arm.
Yeah,
but not quite. You soon learn that you
not
couldn't
quite.
do that either.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. Okay, so if you were gonna suggest kind of looks for a small wedding versus a large wedding, what would you kind of, just thinking out loud, what would you kind of go for? So if you're going small, what vibe would you pick?
Oh, if I go for small, I'll go for romantic and very intimate, you know, put every single touch that you can, because it's small. So it's got to be every single person there have time to look, to see what you have done, to make it special. So if you're going for small, go for exquisite. Just make it beautiful, romantic, intimate. Make sure that there's every element of that person is thought of, because you've got a small number of people to think of. Make them feel it, you wanted them there. And if you wanted to go big, I'll go simple but classy.
Yeah,
you know, you
tie.
don't have to have you don't have to have all sorts, but you can just concentrate on the things that speak more volume than every other thing. You know, you don't have to have all the tables having massive big flowers and things like that, but you can concentrate on the tiny little favors on people if you're going big. So spend less money on the massive look. Just make it look clean, classy.
Yeah,
but
nice
if it's in
polished cutlery and things.
Quality, just nice, simple. You might not have to have a 6 set or 12 set cutlery, but you can have it 4 set, you know. You can have 2 set glasses rather than 4 set glasses. But if you're having a small, you want to have everything. Someone might want to have red and also have white wine glass, might want to have water, might have a little bit of whiskey, you know, it's anything. So with the small ones, go all out, you know, give people the choice to really think, yeah, you really thought about this. But for the big, we can pull it back a bit and just concentrate on the things people will remember. And that's the atmosphere. People remember that.
I'm loving this. I'm not going to any weddings because all my friends are married right now, which is very disappointing.
Same here.
But you know, I can look at weddings and write about weddings till the cows come home, but I'm not actually being a guest at any. But I think I've got a few 40th birthdays coming up. So
I've just had mine, but it was fun. It was COVID birthday, but it was you get to that point where absolutely, for the past 3 years, I've been counting down to 40, and no one could understand why in God's name do you want to be. I just feel it's that point in your life where you kind of like, I know me, and
exactly.
And I love me.
You know that thing you said earlier about not about wanting the couples not to care what other people think.
Yeah.
I said to a friend the other day, she was worried about something or other, completely off the topic of weddings, and I said to her, why do you care what these people think? And she said, well, don't you can? I said, no, I don't care one jot what anyone thinks of me, as long as I've shown up to be a good person and done my best, and you know, I've done that. And she's like, oh, okay. She's a bit younger, and I thought, well, I think it's because I'm off that age where now I'm just like, right, comfortable in your own skin. You do your own thing and you're proud of yourself. And I think if we can give an inch of that to our wedding couples for their big day.
Just enjoy it. And I'll always say, like, I'll say to my friends, I said, I don't mind what you say, but if you want me to change something, I mind the way you tell me. I like I like positive critic. because of course you all want to keep improving. So if you want to complain, that's fine. If you want to critique, then I'll listen, because for you to critique, that means you've got something to say. You've got, you know, is tangible.
Yeah.
And you've got a solution or something you think I should really change. But if it's something you want to talk about, you don't want me to know, feel free. Feel free.
Absolutely.
But I'll welcome any critique. Yeah.
Definitely. And I just think it's nice for everyone to do themselves, like we've been saying for the whole conversation. So, Kate, what's your proudest moment then in your whole business career doing your Sashes and Covers business?
Oh, I don't know why that bride has come to mind, but she did. I was only to provide her with chair covers and sashes which a lot of people were not using at the moment, and her color was white and black. And she just told me, can you arrive early at the venue? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And I got there, and there was so much chaos. Her stationery arrived, they didn't know where they kept it. The florist was just supposed to come and deliver and not set up. There was so much going on. And it was a bride that's supposed to have a beautiful day. In my opinion, if something goes wrong on the day, I don't tell my bride, I solve it. And that's just what I do, because you don't want her panicking.
No.
Solve it or find someone that can get it done. So the best bit was being able to talk to the venue, and it was a beautiful, very lovely lady that was the event planner. And just between us two, we were able to get it together, and she didn't know anything had gone wrong.
Oh, I love that.
You know, when people sent her emails and she was like, she said, oh, Kate, I just found that. How did you find my stationery? Because the guy just emailed to say he dropped it here. I just thought that's the point. You were not supposed to know it was missing. And that's when, and she didn't have to say much. She just sent me a card and just said, thank you, because I didn't have to stress. And to me, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
That's just our message. We don't want you to stress. And once she said it, and I just saw that card and I pinned it on my board, just a reminder that this is why you do what you do.
So, Kate, listen, like at the start of this conversation, you said, I just focus on the linen and that's what I do. And, I stick to linen. I'm like, you should need to be like a full-on top planner, because you are essentially like,
if I do that, maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to work with me, because I will control everything.
But the couples would. The couples
will. But I love people to be them, and I go in to help and step in if I'm needed. So I don't get a bit too much, because when my husband will say, when are you in your wedding zone? I don't even pick my calls. I'll just say, I'm going to set up a wedding, except there's something extremely wrong. Don't call me, because he says I've got a tunnel vision. So I'll just buzz around the whole place, get things done, and until it's done. And I step back, and it's like, you're not getting paid for that. I was like, it's not about the money. It's about how I feel. And
precisely.
Yeah, I'm selfish. As long as I'm happy, I don't care.
Yeah.
So it's
great.
It's that bit. Yeah, we do just the linens, but I wouldn't walk out and see maybe someone came to drop something and they just dropped it carelessly, and I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll tell you, where are you supposed to drop that? Does the bride or the venue planner, do they know where you've dropped that? Is that where, is that how the cake is supposed to be placed? Is it done? Is it finished? I ask questions. It's also part of interacting with people.
Yeah.
It's not in an annoying way. It's just trying to find out.
It's playing on the bride and groom's team, or the wedding team.
It's all about them. It's all about them.
It really is. I think that's such a good mentality to have. I absolutely love it. I can't imagine like Christmas or family parties at your house, what it's like. I can imagine the level of
I don't do them. That's the funny thing. Even my kids' party, I rent somewhere and pay people to do it.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't, even Christmas, I rather go to a friend's place or invite people to just sit down and have a meal. That's the funny thing. I don't like doing parties, and I don't do events. I'll rent somewhere. My wedding, people were like, oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do. I'm like, no, I'm not planning my own wedding. I'm paying people to do it because it's my wedding. Let someone stress about that.
Absolutely.
And I just walked in. I know what to ask because I do it, but I didn't want to do it when it's mine. It's just, no, I want to experience the other side of it.
But those suppliers were nervous.
Yeah, somewhere, somebody worked with me, so they knew what to expect. So it was fine. But yeah, I provided my linens. So
well, that's fine then, isn't it? It's absolutely, thank goodness, because
I provided my linens, but someone else set it up. I didn't set up.
Well, do you know what? Okay, if I were wedding planning right now, you know, I would be giving you a call, because I think you've demonstrated just how much you care, and just the quality levels that you aspire to are just impeccable. And the choices there in terms of colours, I think it's just wedding couples, please do check out Kate's website and her social media, and some beautiful imagery on there of what she does. And please do book her for your wedding day, because I think we can guarantee a top class service. But okay, what's your web address? And we'll drop it here for everybody.
It's www.sashesandcovers.co.uk. That's the web address.
And what about Instagram?
Instagram is also Sashes and Covers. Facebook, Sashes and Covers. It's just what we do. So
all very easy to find. But please do go and check out Kate's beautiful styling work, and drop her a line, get to know her a little bit better. But I think
thanks for having me here today, Julia.
Thank you. Okay, it's been amazing.
Thank you. See you soon.